Alright, well today I've got a surprise for you guys. I finally got my broadheads in for turkey hunting and I've already made up my arrows. So what we're going to be running is the Easton Axis 5mm, and it's going to be full length. So these are 34-inch long arrows with just the standard insert that you get with the arrow itself and the sleeve that goes over the other end, that goes over the end. And then what I did is I took it and I did a 6 fletch, so that way we get more drag on the back here. These fletchings are just boning X3 veins is all they are. They're probably just about a ½ inch off of the arrow, and like I said, this is a 5mm. So this one I've already weighed it with a 100 grain tip. The broadheads I'm shooting are also 100 grains. So we're gonna sight this sucker in, and the full weight of this thing rigged out is 598 grains. Now that's pretty heavy considering my whitetail arrow is 522 grains, and that's cut down. And I think the GPI on this is a little bit more than those Ultra View arrows because it's also 4.5mm instead of 5. But we're going to sight this in. We're going to start with my Magnus lift. We're going to keep the same poundage and everything. We're not going to change any of that. We're going to keep the same poundage, same everything. Only thing we're doing is changing up the arrow. So on my Garmin sights, I'll have a second profile once I get this thing sighted in. And we're going to start here at about 10 yards. As you can see, we're going to aim here at this turkey target. And we're just going to work our way back to 20. And then once we get it sighted in at 20, then we're going to put the headlopper broadheads on here, and I've got a pillow already rigged up there ready to shoot at. So we're going to get it sighted in with field points, and then we're going to go shoot the broadhead and see kind of how close you can get this thing sighted in this way. Alright, so scratch that. I had to back up to 15 yards because the Garmin will not let you sight anything in less than 15 yards. So I'm at 16 yards right now. And we're going to sight this sucker in, this arrow, and get it calibrated to shoot at this turkey. I have taken one practice shot. I wanted to make sure I was going to hit the target. So we're going to shoot this sucker again and make sure that we got what we need. A little low, but nailed the target. Looks pretty good. Doesn't look too bad. All right, well, we hit a little low. We're gonna do it one more time and just see where exactly we're hitting for sure. Make sure we're good. Not too bad, a little right maybe. All right, so we're gonna shoot this sucker again just to make sure. I wanna be dang sure that we're good. Yeah, that thing's moving that 600 grain arrow pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right, I got us set up now at 16 yards, and I've got my broadhead on there now. So we're gonna try to sight this in, make sure we're good, and then we'll be ready for turkey season. And like I said, we're gonna do six fletch, and let's go down there and see if we can't hit one of those black dots on that pillow. I'm gonna aim for the top one first. Just turning the broadhead, make sure I got clearance, because that's gonna be the first and foremost. Oh yeah, we got plenty of clearance. All right. That thing took off. Hell, it broke a rope on there. That thing was scooting. All right, well, we missed that by probably about 4 inches, so I recalibrated it, and we are going to take a shot now and see what happens. Still aiming for that top one. All right, we're going to try one more time. We were just a little bit right. I've moved the pin, adjusted accordingly, and we're still aiming for that top one. I really want to hit that top one. Once I get that top one, probably going to call it sighted in. We just been to the right, consistently to the right and low, and we're still at 15 or 16 yards. Oh baby, that looked freaking perfect right there. All right, as you can see here, my first shot was this one right here. My second shot was right there, and my third shot's right there, right on the dot. So we're gonna call that sighted in and call it good. I'll probably come out again and practice a little bit more, maybe like a week before turkey season. But we're going to call that good, so I can go back and get back on my regular arrow profile and go back to shooting those and practicing and practicing and practicing. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. I am going to do some more practicing, like I said, and we're going to try to get a turkey this year with one of those headlopper broadheads by Magnus Bullhead was the brand of that. Those are the 100 grains, so they have a little bit smaller diameter. And like I said, I'm shooting the same poundage, same draw length, same everything out of my bow. I did not go down in poundage. There's been some people say that you can go down in poundage, but if you do that, then you got to retune your bow and, you know, basically start all over again. And I don't want to do that by changing my mods. If I change my mods and then I try to go back to whitetail hunting, then you got to go and pretty much retune your bow all over again for whitetails. So by leaving everything the way it is on my bow, and the only thing I changed was my arrow, you can always go up in poundage or weight grains on your arrow, which I did. I went up almost 80 grains, 522 to 598 grains. So almost 80 grain difference between those two arrow setups that I got. And I mean, the whitetail arrows running around 293 feet a second, so I mean, it's plenty fast. It didn't take me very long to get set up with this arrow profile on my bow. It was rather quick. What you all saw was how long it took. I mean, I shot 3 or 4 arrows down at the turkey target, and then I came over here and shot 3 arrows at this pillow, and I'm good. So if you leave your bow set up the same way, same poundage, same draw length, same everything, and only change your arrow profile, you shouldn't have a whole hell of a lot difference as far as, like, you know, re-sighting in, regardless of what sights you use, whether it's the UV or Axle, Excel, or Spot Hog. You know, I mean, all you're going to have to do on one of those is, you know, if you're shooting a heavier arrow, chances are it's going to drop sooner, so you're going to have to just drop your pins down. And you really only need to drop down the top pin, because what your 20 is with a lighter arrow and what your 20 is going to be with this heavier setup, it's going to be a little bit lower. And that's probably the case, because, well, that is the case, because it says with that arrow setup I can only go out to 66 yards with the same exact setting as my whitetail setup, but my whitetail setup I can go all the way out to 80 before going into XD mode. So I mean, you lose about 14 yards of distance, and I will never shoot that at a turkey anyway, so I ain't worried about that. I just want to get out, be good to 16 to 20 yards. That's all the farther you're probably going to be able to shoot one with this arrow set up and the those big broadheads on there. And then you just need enough vanes to steer it, enough drag to steer it. So I'm sure that between the fletchings and the big broadhead, that should slow it down, plus the weight. All of those things should slow down your arrow enough to lop one of these turkeys in the head. So that's what we're going to try to do this year. And anyways, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.